Should we just not say anything? Just sit here.
We could do.
Welcome, everybody. Here we are back at Sunday, which seems mad to me. That week went in a flash. This is what we do on a Sunday. 8 o'clock, we go live and chat with you lot. No guest again this week. We're kind of having a break from that. But we will go back to having guests on. We thought we would talk about advice. And I want to hear from you lot. What's the best advice you've been given regarding your reselling business, or if it's a part-time thing, reselling in general? And what advice would you give, knowing what you know now, wherever you are at in your reselling journey, if you want to call it that? What advice would you give? We get asked this a lot. We get people emailing us asking for advice. Had one recently. Somebody fairly local actually lives in Attleborough, asking about a reselling business and what would I suggest? What advice would I give? I've made some notes, but I would be keen to know what piece of advice sticks in your head, and you keep referring back to. So that's what we're going to talk about. Right, whilst people are joining us and the notifications are going out, we'll say a few hellos. First in was Ian. Hope you're both well and things are getting better after your recent loss. Yes, thank you. We have the funeral coming up. So yeah, that will be a tough day. But yes, thank you. We're both well. Well, I've had a bit of a palaver with I had to go and get antibiotics because I have an infected salivary gland. You don't need to know this, but it's been painful, and a great big lump came up under my tongue, which is quite disturbing, right? When a lump appears.
Well, yeah, I think you were a little bit worried about it.
I was quite concerned, but I've been, reliably informed it's just an infection, and I'm on a course of antibiotics, as are you. Aren't you?
Yeah, but I'm not going to go into that.
So that's our little
You
word.
don't need to know
that. Anyway, yeah, oversharing time. Hi, Claire and Mark, Brian. Yes, we're fine.
The only thing we have to make sure is we don't take each other's antibiotics.
I've put my name on mine. It's difficult to remember though. Once every 8 hours. I'm setting a timer on my phone.
It doesn't have to be that strict.
Well, I'm not being that
no.
deadly on 8 hours. It's impossible to. Hi, Joe. Hi, Neil and Angela, says Thomas. Hope you've both start again. Hope you have had a great week of sales on the Bay. Pretty good.
It's not been bad. It's
pretty good. Yeah. I listed a load of high value stuff and some of that has gone. I'll probably do my regular Monday video and share all of that with you. But yeah, the push to clear stock, and I made a video recently about clearing stuff I was avoiding in the shed. I'll give an update on that soon as well. But yeah, going all right.
Yeah.
We've been productive and it always pays off. Hey, Ross. Nick and Andrea, thank you. Yes. Porky is with us. Thomas again. Kevin, Sharon, hello. Hope everyone's been enjoying the fabulous weather. Yeah, but as soon as the sun goes in, it's freezing.
Well, it is in our house.
It's yeah.
Not for everybody. Oh, the door's still open. That won't help.
I was out in the sunshine doing photographs, and I was actually feeling warm in the sun. I love that feeling.
Yeah.
Stood out there in a t-shirt.
What was it, like 19 degrees today or something like that?
It was nice, whatever it was. It's Hayley Beanie. Good evening. Chris is with us. Right, let's get down. See if we've got any advice. So if you just joined us, the number's gone right up to 135. I don't know if you lot can see that, or is that just for our screen?
No,
that number.
Nobody else can see that.
Okay.
You might be able to see it above the chat. I don't know.
I want to know what advice you've ever been given that stuck with you, that you found helpful, or what advice you would give somebody else about reselling, getting into reselling, advice in general. We'll share some of the notes we made in a minute.
Well, Ross has kicked us off with, if you sell clothes, focus on bigger sizes, small clothes, just sit there.
It's true, isn't it, though? Is that because the population is getting bigger?
No, I think it's that larger people tend to prefer to shop online.
Oh, really? Interesting. But yeah, way back when we both sold clothes, it was true that the XL and above's clothes were in higher demand. Maybe also there was less of them listed.
Yeah, it could be that as well. Yeah.
But yeah, good advice then.
Right, Helen's got advice there. Good evening. My advice is deal with things as you buy them. Don't save for later, as you end up with a massive death pile.
Well,
yeah,
that's sound advice.
Doesn't always happen.
Sticking to that, I'll tell you why that is difficult. It's because we're opportunists and we go out and we buy. You've seen some of the sizes of hauls I've bought over the years, van loads at a time. So the very nature of how we source sometimes means you can't stick to that.
And we also tend to source for a rainy day kind of thing. We're squirrels harvesting and burying our nuts. That's how I've always put it.
Yeah. Well, the opportunity to source, depending on how you source, the opportunity to source isn't constant. So as you say, we tend to buy loads in the summer, car boot, yard sale season, build up a backlog, and then that usually gets us through winter when we don't manage to source as much. But it is good advice if you can stay on top of a backlog.
Also, it's really easy, as I know, to buy more than you can list.
Yeah.
That
Helen's advice is good advice, but it's a constant battle if you're a reseller and you source as we do. It's a treasure hoard, not a death pile, says Ross. Right. Do you mind me asking what percentage you promote at? I don't mind at all. Do you want to go first?
0.
0. I do promote. Not everything. I've just listed a load of very rare dwarven forged scenery. The next batch went on today. It doesn't come up very often. There's no point promoting it. People have saved searches. As soon as they went live, they gained loads of watchers. That's not promoted at all. But a lot of my stuff I promote at 2 or 3%. I don't tend to go. Every now and again, when I'm doing a sale, instead of marking something down, I'll put the promotion right up to like 10%. That works. There you go. Play around with it. See what works for you. Right, Jessica, do you want to read that one?
If you like.
I was going to have a drink. That was all.
Jessica says, eBay advice, buy what you love, don't ignore the dead pile. Yeah, that's always been my advice as well. Buy what you love because, and we've actually written this down here, because if you buy something that you really don't enjoy listing, then the likelihood is it's just going to sit there and you're not going to list it. And life's too short. If you're going to have your own business, enjoy what you're doing.
Yeah.
So,
and we had to learn that, and we've taken some turns as our business has changed over the last 20 plus years, and we've ended up down dead ends where we really weren't happy doing what we were doing.
Yeah. So we changed it.
Realizing that, the ability to realize, well, let's read some of this because we're going to go over this. And the first thing that we came up with is there are so many niches within reselling. Reselling covers everything, right? There are so many niches. To find some that you love doesn't mean you have to super niche down. We both sell all sorts, really, but we're still evolving and trying to find what we enjoy selling.
Yeah.
For me, it's more knowing what I don't enjoy selling and don't go near it.
Definitely, yeah.
Everything else is fair game for me.
Yeah, and when also what we tied in with that is that don't be afraid to evolve. Don't be afraid to change something. If it's not working for you or you're not enjoying it, don't be afraid to just, do something different.
Yeah.
Find another niche if you're niching down.
Well, we've done that a few times, and it's not a failure to admit that you're not getting on with something, you don't enjoy something, and you're going to scrap it. We at one point before it was around the time we started on YouTube. We had like a warehouse, and it was full of clothing, and we were specializing in clothing, and we had a big setup, invested in all sorts of racking and rails and all sorts of stuff, and it didn't work. And we had to take a step back and go, okay, we're changing again. And we've done that several times. It's not a failure, it's just evolving what you do.
Yeah. And Will says the same thing. Sell things that you find interesting. It seems like less like work if you find it interesting.
100%. Let's read another one of ours. Actually, do a bit more chat, because we'll get way behind in the chat.
Porky says, did you see the Hingham yard sale is on the 10th of May? I did see that. Yeah.
Oh,
thank you.
It's also because the shops get less of the larger sizes and lots of the smaller ones. Yeah. Right. So it's a supply demand thing then, as well as perhaps people shop for larger sizes more online. As you
Amanda says it's the same thing.
Less clothes items in bigger sizes, more demand. Interesting.
Yeah. JJ says, if you sell clothes, look for designer names rather than attractive wear.
Interesting. Hang on, go back, Helen. I'm useless at sticking to my own advice. It's not easy, is it? Yeah, totally with you.
Yeah. Super Noodles, love the name, says, evening, don't trust price tags. Always check sold comps if unsure. I've been fooled looking at price tags before, only to check eBay and see solds are completely different.
Price tags?
Do you mean what's currently for sale?
Oh, right.
Yeah, maybe. I do both. I look at completeds just to get an idea of what people are willing to pay, and then I look what's currently available, so I know I'm being competitive.
Yeah, I do a similar thing. Always check your current competition.
Yeah. Sharon says, I'd say be consistent with your listings and don't compare yourself don't compare your results to others. Everyone's circumstances and goals are different.
Brilliant. Yes. And we've made some notes briefly earlier, and something very similar to that came out, didn't it? What was it? Oh, well, we've said, and we did a chat just like this about what is success. And this ties into that other chat we had. We put down, set out what your idea of success is and stick to it. So if your idea of why you are getting into this or setting up a business or even doing it part-time, whatever the goal is, that's your goal, and don't let someone else dictate it for you. For example, not having a boss. That could be your singular goal. Therefore, the moment you leave your job and start reselling, you are being successful. Yes. Having less stress could be the goal. That was it for me, and still is really. Having less stress and not having to be told what to do. So every day I'm being successful because I am meeting my goals. Paying bills and being comfortable. Yeah. It's not all about making more, having more, getting a massive warehouse. Not that there's anything wrong with those things, and that might be your goal. More power to you. Yeah. But understanding what you're trying to get out of it, and every now and again stepping back and saying, what did I get into this for? Am I achieving it? Do I need to change anything? Yeah.
And unless it's exactly what you want to be doing with your business, don't get caught up in the idea that it has always to be about growth. Reselling business doesn't always have to be about growth. If you've got a small business and you want to keep it small, you don't have to grow it. You don't have to expand it. So, there are lots of people on social media that will make you feel like you have to. I mean, we get the comments quite a lot of people telling us that we're rubbish because we haven't grown in all these years. We haven't, we've never expanded. We're still doing exactly the same we were doing 10 years ago. But that's our choice. That's what we want to do. It works for us and we're happy. So if that works for you, don't get caught up in people telling you need to grow it. You need to grow it. No, because businesses don't always have to grow. They can just stay how you need it to be and what you need out of it.
Yeah, there can be a lot of judgment about business and turnover and how much money you're making. It's nobody else's business. But if growth and expanding and wanting to build an empire out of this is your goal, go for it, right? But be focused on whatever your goal is and make it suit you.
Doug and Tony say, make sure the item you're sending out is in the condition you described, especially ceramics, lots of photos.
Great one. Yeah. If you're going to really hyper focus on anything, describing the condition is it, isn't it, really?
Yeah, because you will get a certain amount of people that will pick out, they're purposefully looking for something
you missed,
that you've missed, or something that you've not quite described correctly, and they will jump on it. And yeah, we've experienced it. Unfortunately, I've experienced it recently. Yeah.
And having said that, mistakes will happen. We've all missed something, right? And several times over the years, you come to send something out and it's like, how did I miss this glaring fault with this item? Right? What? And then you have to go hands up and own up to it. Mistakes happen, but yeah, that's a really good one, Doug and Tony. Our ball ref, hello. Don't bite off more than you can chew. It will take away time from other activities / listings. That's a good one. I am very much that person. I constantly take on new jobs, new projects, new things, whilst in the middle of many others. I am that personality type. I am actually starting to get better at it and recognize it when I'm doing it. Just on a day-to-day basis, I'll be planning to list 20 items, let's say. And then half an hour in, I'll realize I'm off doing some random side quest.
Yeah.
And I've lost an hour to something that I really don't need to be doing there and then. I'm learning to identify that and rein myself in a bit.
Yeah. Or if I'm doing something, you're like, oh, what are you doing? And you start involving yourself in that. And then you've forgotten you were doing something else over there.
Yeah. And on a bigger scale, we both of us take on too many projects and make life too busy. Saying no, I wrote down here, saying no is a good thing to learn. I wrote down somewhere.
Yeah, I turned it over just so that you knew where you were.
Oh, okay.
In the notes. Pete WW says, my best advice is to watch this channel as it's been extremely helpful over the years for me. Oh, thank you.
Thank you, Pete.
That's good to know.
Yeah. And on that, it's really funny. We get lots of criticism on our channels. We get lots of advice that we're unsolicited advice. And people who don't like the videos and then tell us they don't like them. Can I just put it out there? There are many channels. Pete finds our videos helpful. That's wonderful. If you don't, find a channel that suits your needs, because you don't have to stay and watch.
No, I never ever understand that. Why would you watch something that you don't enjoy? Life's too short.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a free country.
We're not everybody is for everybody, you know. You'll find another channel that you connect with. If you don't connect with this one, find another one you do connect with.
And that goes back to what we were saying earlier about understand what type of business you want, what your goals are, what you're trying to achieve, and surround yourself with people that are aligned with that. There are many channels on here that are all about turnover and build it up and make a fortune.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
No.
Not at all.
And in a way, that was us 15, 20 years ago, right? We built up a business.
Well, we had a goal.
Yeah. We had a financial goal to buy a house and pay off the mortgage. We had a high street store that we were constantly improving and upping the turnover. And that was our goal. When we got out of it, we switched that round and decided, really, we want to do less and be comfortable. Yeah, end of.
Exactly.
So choose a channel, choose people to surround yourself with that maybe understand your goals, or you can relate to them and their journey.
Yeah. Because, you know, I might be talking to you right now, but there are people that do want to grow, and they do want to expand, and they do have goals to, you know, make lots of money and have staff, and that's great. And if that's you, that's amazing. But if it's not you, identify that and say,
Mm.
right, I don't have to do that. Don't feel that you have to.
Or if you go down that route and take on staff, end up working all the hours God sends, and this was us at some point way back when, and you realize, oh, I chose to be self-employed, so I didn't have to, run the treadmill and be stressed all the time. We got to a point where we were doing that to ourselves. So be prepared to meet that moment where you go, oh my God, I've built my own stress empire now. Right.
Yeah.
Anyway.
And don't be afraid to say, oh, I need to take a step back. I need to rein this in now.
Did you highlight that one? Sorry. Joe says, 2 years ago, your advice to seek out the stuff in the corner you keep leaving till later and list it. Nice. Yeah. We're both doing a bit of that ourselves right now. Ross, send everything tracked. Bailed me out of so many times and stopped so many scammers. Yeah, that's a good one. Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's
Hayley Beanie. Not advice, but I've managed to read 11 books since the end of March, 6 of them from eBay, and I've had a couple of issues. One completely covered in black permanent pen, refunded after making contact. Oh, good grief. Yeah.
Interesting.
So I find that as well. If I buy something from eBay and it turns up in really bad condition, or I've had bad customer service, I realize how good we are in terms of like giving customer service and making sure that our items are like tip-top condition.
Or when you buy from Vinted and it turns up in an Asda bag.
Depop is the worst.
Oh, Depop.
The amount of times Ellen has bought something from Depop and it's either not been shipped or it's taken forever to be shipped. And she had one recently because she was going away and she needed some sunglasses, which she ordered weeks ago from Depop. And she chased them many, many times and it took them weeks and weeks to post them. She eventually opened a case because they hadn't posted them, even though they kept promising they were going to. And on the day that she opened the case, they said, oh, I'm at the post office now. I'm about to post them. So she closed the case, received the sunglasses, and they were in awful condition, weren't they? They had like black marker pen on them. They were all scratched. They were in disgusting
They turned up
condition.
in a mail bag as well, just a mailing bag. Anyway, yes. Let's have a look. That carried on. Making contact with the seller who admitted a mistake of not checking. Okay, well, at least they admitted it and they were cool about it.
Yeah.
So advice, check items thoroughly for damages. This was front cover completely ruined. Wow. Research. Ooh, said that together.
Yeah, so that's a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And on the back of that, just keep learning. Every time I list something, I'm learning about it, or I'll do a search, and while I'm there, I'll explore a little. While I'm there, I'll filter the search by highest price first and see what within whatever niche I'm listing. Yeah. So what am I looking for? I don't know, I'm selling a what's it and it's worth 20 quid. Okay, well, while I'm in this general search of these things, what goes for the real money?
I can get lost down rabbit holes with that.
You can,
especially if I'm looking at like Wedgwood or something, and I'm looking at glass, and I'm like, oh my gosh, that's going on the bucket list.
It can become a side quest. I'm sitting here thinking I'm going to list 20 items. An hour later, I'm still looking up, I don't know, some random thing.
Yeah, but I think that's one of my favourite parts of the listing process.
There is a limit to how long you should actually spend looking stuff up. Yeah.
Jessica says, I stopped selling clothes because I couldn't stand listing it. Same here.
Exactly.
I didn't enjoy the listing process.
That's fine. That's just learning what works for you in your business. Let's see what else I've put down.
David Pentland, I have a hoard of reserve stock. I had to get a big house.
A bigger house.
That's always an option, isn't it?
Wow. Well, what we just said there, I can't remember who said it now a minute ago. If you don't enjoy or struggle to deal with certain things, don't do it. It sounds simple when you say it out loud, but we had to learn this lesson. If you're struggling, as we were struggling with the motivation and the palaver that is clothing, and remember, some people love it and make a fortune doing it. More power to them. Wasn't for us. Certainly wasn't for me. You struggled on for a while and then decided, you know what,
Yeah.
I'm not enjoying this. And I also added, just because others do, sell clothing, for example, or sell Lego, for example. That's one that people can't stand.
Or board games. The
Or
amount
board
of
games.
people that have told you there's no money in board games,
Yeah,
or media.
Or I can't stand board games. You have to check all the bits. Well, don't sell them.
No.
Just because I love it.
No.
Right?
And you love media, and you love selling it, and it's low profit. But
well, no, not all of it.
Not all of it, but a lot of
most
it
of it is these days.
But you love it, so you sell it.
Exactly. Did you read Amanda's there?
I didn't. Don't be impatient. I don't sell much, but if not sold quickly, I reduce the price after a week, get bored, and give the items to charity. Hence, I rarely sell now and cannot understand the new postage. Simple postage. Yeah.
I've only heard negative things about eBay's update with the postage, which hasn't affected us yet because we're a business seller, and as far as I know, it's only for private sellers at the moment. But from what we were told, they're going to roll it out as an option for business sellers. Right now, I'm not touching it with a barge pole because it sounds awful.
Yeah, but the advice to not be impatient is a good one, because I've been dealing with really old stock at the moment, doing lots of sales similars, and be amazed what's selling at the moment. And it's been around for 2 years, some of it, So yeah. I'm really focusing on that at the moment, trying to clear the decks. And if it gets to a point where it's still not going, then I'll donate, or we've taken some bits to the boot sale recently as well. But yeah, I do tend to keep things for 2 or 3 years before I give up on it.
We have evolved certainly over the years to be less list and forget, assume it will sell one day, to we're both implementing systems now where there is a system. So it will get reduced, it will get ended, sold similar, it will be whatever. There's a system, and when it drops off the end of that system, it's gone. Otherwise, you will just end up with shelves full of stuff that's never going to sell. Yeah,
and eBay tell you that after about 3 months, these listings get stale. So you need to be looking at things at least every 3 months.
We're doing it monthly now. Well, I certainly am.
Yeah.
Anyway, Sean Pop. Hello, Sean Pop. Would you suggest doing free returns where seller pays postage for domestic and international sales, or have buyers pay postage? And do you think free returns gets you higher up in pages and more sales? Wow. We don't do free returns.
Don't know if it gets you higher up.
We didn't ever opt in for that free returns, did we? We do a mixture of free and paid postage, just whatever suits the item and niche we're currently listing in. Most of your stuff has postage added on. A lot of mine, media, board games, or whatever, I pick and choose. I don't think that free or paid postage really makes a difference much, apart from in niches where it's kind of expected, like media. Generally, it's free shipping, so I just go along with it. Just add it into the cost.
Poppy Chaps, is that?
Poppy Chaps.
First time I've ever caught you guys live. I normally miss it and have to watch on the replay. Well, hello.
Hello.
Wholesale says, if something has a potential kink or fetish linked to it, add it to the listing. Yes, but be prepared for the questions, and be prepared for people asking you to do certain things.
Can you wear these shoes without any socks on before you send them?
If you don't want people to start asking you strange things, don't add it. That's my advice, and I speak from experience.
Yeah. For somebody who's starting out, let's go to what advice would you give? And Ian says, familiar yourself with the shipping costs. 100%. I think that's perhaps the most complicated bit when you start, is when you're not used to packing things as well, being prepared to pack stuff, have all of the right boxes. And, I think when we all start out, you're busy listing all this stuff, and then all of a sudden, I've got to send it all. I don't have any boxes, So be prepared, and understanding who you're going to use to ship it and how much it's going to cost before you list it is key. 100%.
And advice on packing supplies as well. We very rarely use any brand new packaging.
Not anymore.
We recycle as much as we can do. So, you know, there are often Facebook groups locally where you can ask people, like recycling pages. Yeah, recycling pages on Facebook. In Hitchin, there was one, wasn't there? And you used to go around, people used to put stuff out for you.
Get to know your neighbours and tell them you want packaging, you know, boxes and padded envelopes and those little card Amazon envelopes. They're great. Just tell everyone in your local area and they'll just drop it off. Yeah. Lex, hello. Start your, here we go, SKUs. Start your SKU system from your very first item.
Yeah, and that is good advice. When I did clothing, I had a SKU system and that really worked well. We don't have a SKU system for my stuff now. They just go on a shelf. We hunt for them.
We don't very often lose items. But it is good advice, definitely. I mean, particularly for Lex, who's got loads and loads of small things that will easily get lost or confused or muddled.
Yeah. Kevin says, look for things people collect, like celebrities, e.g. vintage toys.
Absolutely.
Porky says, always deliver more than expected.
That's good general advice. Yeah. My goal is the most money for the least effort. Sounds good.
Yeah, well, what's it they say? Work smarter, not harder.
Yeah, I'm not sure I've ever cracked that one.
No. Sorry, go on.
No, I thought. You don't have to have a YouTube channel or social media to be a reseller. 100%.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Listening while packing whatnot orders. So speak up. You can turn the volume up, Lex, surely. Yes, that's what we were getting at before. Under promise and over deliver. Right.
Yeah. Yeah, keep an eye on what's popular, especially if you're selling clothes. And I do the same with, you know, the vintage homeware and interior stuff. I watch a lot of YouTube channels because I enjoy it really, you know, of homeware and home tours and, you know, all that kind of thing. But also look at interiors magazines and just keep an eye on what's current because it'll give you an idea of what to pick up and what people are looking for.
Don't undercharge on postage. It can be expensive. That goes back to knowing how much it's going to cost you. We all fall foul of that one, don't we?
Yeah.
And the thing that I still sometimes underestimate, particularly when packing your stuff, is because you have to, with breakables, you know, a tea set, for example, that's so much extra cardboard, so much extra padding and a box inside a box. You've added another like few kilos just with packaging. So we do fall foul of that even now sometimes because I really try and overpack things where I can. I don't think it's possible to overpack ceramics.
No, you want to make it bomb proof.
Yeah.
We had feedback recently from somebody who you'd sent. Was it a book?
I think I screen grabbed it. I might share it on Instagram. We had a message where somebody said, gave us positive glowing review in a feedback because the courier had chucked the item over their fence and it landed on a concrete patio. And it was an expensive book. I think it was one of those D&D books, so like a £50 book. And he said that because I'd packed it so well, so it had enough room for crumpling because the packaging had been smashed on the floor, he said the book was still perfect. So that's good to know. This is a good one. British Bulldog, don't offer partial refunds. And we've had this again recently and we stick to our guns on it.
We do.
We offer what we have to as a business, which is returns.
Returns, full refunds. There's nothing in distance selling laws that say that you have to offer any kind of partial refund.
No.
And people do tend to abuse this.
Well, the buyer saying, I can't get to a post office to return it is not a reason for us to change our policy.
Because I did explain, well, you know, Royal Mail now make it so easy to collect from your doorstep.
And as if But you might still do a separate
Yeah,
video
I
on this.
think we will probably. this week.
Everybody knows somebody that could pop to the post office and drop off a parcel,
Mm.
right? We've heard them all before. So yes, I like that one a lot. Right, let me read some more off here. What else did we put down? Now, social media was mentioned before. You don't have to have a YouTube channel or Instagram or share what you do to be a reseller. 100%. With
Jeff's getting involved.
Jeff's heard someone outside. With social media in mind, I wrote down, use social media to inspire and check yourself while you're doing it, and don't compare. Unless, there's always a caveat, unless that is helpful. Some people find the comparison to others inspiring. I need to be bigger and better, faster, more. But for many, that just makes you feel crap about yourself. It shouldn't. So use social media wisely, because it can be, it's a trap, right?
Yeah.
And again, going back to align yourself with people that are on the same page as you, right? That's maybe have the same values, the same goals, and then you're in a space that's more comfortable.
Yeah, definitely.
But again, some people really need that inspiration of watching hugely successful people doing crazy numbers. And if that's what you're chasing, maybe that's helpful.
Yeah.
What else did we have?
JJ just said, when did you start reselling? Full time 23 years ago. So that was 2001.
2002. Well, 2002.
Well, the end of 2001. For me, it was the end of 2001 because I was on maternity leave. You were still in full-time work.
Yeah, I left my last paid employment in the civilian side of the police force because I had switched from uniform in 2001. And then I stayed for about 6 to 8 months, I think. I worked at Police HQ in Hertfordshire.
I mean, you probably all heard Nick talking about this before, but you were in training more than you were actually in the job.
No.
Yes, you were.
No, definitely.
Felt like
definitely not.
No, in terms of like in uniform. You weren't in uniform.
For actual uniform time, possibly.
For the job, you weren't.
I don't know. It's a long time ago.
Not
I didn't say in uniform long. This goes back to understanding when something isn't right for you in your business.
Absolutely.
Or in life in general. I hear so many times people are fed up with their job or they don't like where their life's going. And I just say, change it. It's your life.
Yeah. And what it made you realise that was not for you.
Oh, I 100% knew it wasn't for me.
In the slightest.
Yeah, we've derailed ourselves. Let's get, where were we?
Ross says, negative feedback happens, so don't let it get to you and try and make all your sales the best. It doesn't matter in the end, particularly now with automated feedback, and use the reply feature to come across kind. Yes, absolutely. Yes. Yeah,
the first bit of that is brilliant. Negative feedback happens. Yeah. If you just take away that, don't let it ruin your day.
Yeah.
We actually had one removed recently, which was totally unjustified because they said we cancelled the order, which we didn't.
I think they got confused with another order.
But we have, I think currently there are a couple on our account still. Yeah. It happens.
In the last eBay Seller Council, they were talking about automated feedback, and you know, we've had these discussions before about feedback, and a couple of people on the council said, I really hate it. I just can't bear that sort of red mark on my feedback. But they were reassuring us, the people at eBay were reassuring us and saying, we don't expect you to have 100% positive feedback without any negative feedback. That's a silly expectation to have, and we do not expect it.
And that came from the lady who's kind of in charge of the whole feedback part of eBay, or very high up in it at least. And she was saying, we don't expect 100%. It's almost impossible, particularly if you're turning over the sort of volumes we do and more. It's going to happen. Mistakes will happen, or somebody feels like they've had a bad experience. When you're selling thousands of items yearly, it's going to happen. Don't worry about it.
Chris B says, since moving back to Norfolk, my outgoing costs have halved. My buying has increased massively. So many more places to buy up here, and and my backlog is growing, I'll get through it at some point. Oh, that must be why my backlog has grown so much. Yeah, we are. I mean, we get comments all the time saying you're so lucky to have so many jumble sales, so many yard sales, and we are in Norfolk, and there is just so many places to thrift. It's brilliant.
Recently, we've seen Chris a number of times because they're fairly local now. But we were selling at a boot sale. Chris rocks up. I don't know, maybe they've been there 10 minutes or so, and he had a couple of DSs and PlayStation 4 and 3 or whatever, bag full of it. And I'm like, he was giving me the itch to go looking, but we were trying not to buy.
Well, but I did actually take Jeff for a little wander around the car boot, and I wasn't meant to be buying, but I bought a plate. It was just sat there on the mat on one of the stalls, and it was gorgeous, quite a large, like a platter plate, round, and I turned it over. It was cold port, and I thought, oh, okay. And she says, what's £1? And I thought, oh, I can't leave it behind for £1. So I bought it, got it home. It's worth about £60. So I don't feel bad about that purchase.
No, that's a pretty good one.
Yeah.
Hi, Mandy. How do you decide on what price to sell at? What price won't you go above when buying? Right, first part of that, I'll have a go at answering. How do I decide at what price to sell at? I use eBay completed and sold listings. So I'm sure you know how to do that, but have a play around with that. Down the side, you can sort the results of your search. So search for the item you've got, and then sort that by actual completeds and solds. Because quite often, if you're just looking at what's currently available, people might be asking loads of money for something, but it's not realistic. So the actual information is in what's sold. So I judge it based on that. And then have a look at how many are available. That gives you an idea of the supply and demand of the item, whether you need to be aggressive on price, or maybe not many come up, so price it high and wait.
Yeah, and also when you look at what's currently available, it gives you an idea of how competitive to be price-wise, doesn't it?
And the second price, what price won't you go above when buying? Totally depends what it is. What you think, or you think you know the value of that is. And within that, you've got to work out what you think your margin might be. Now, different sellers work on different ideas of what their profit margin should be. Some high volume sellers will be happy to make a couple of pounds on an item. Other people won't get out of bed for less than £50 profit on something, right? And that both of those models are totally fine. You need to decide what your business looks like. Ours is somewhere in between all of that, right? It's a bit of everything. I hope that helped, that ramble. Did you have any input on that one?
No, I think you summed it up really.
Okay.
Right. Did you have some things to read out then?
I can try. What did I put? So advice. I've put here, periodically step back and look at where you are. And if you need to, evolve. We touched on this before. Don't be scared to say, I'm not enjoying what I've been doing for the last year, but I did used to enjoy a lot of that, and I've moved away from whatever that might be. Change. It's your business. This is one of the beauties of it. It's your business. You control what it looks like, what you do, how you spread your time, and what you focus on. And I put here, you are in control.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, that's a difficult one to remember sometimes. eBay is not in control of your business.
No.
You are in control of your business.
No. And we're not tied to eBay. eBay works for us as generalist sellers. But if a better option came up, we're not married to eBay.
No.
It still is, for us, the best platform out there.
We think so.
We've fallen out with Etsy a little bit recently. We fell out with Amazon completely a couple of years ago. Well, probably more than that now, 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah, and a lot of people love Vinted.
Yeah,
so.
And we made a lot of money on Amazon. We did very well out of it. But certain policies they had and ways of them doing business, we just had enough. And that's fine. It's your business.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll do one more that we wrote down.
Okay.
Oh, well, it's quite a simple statement, really. We're all different and we respond to different pressures and motivations, and that's fine. Again, the social media thing. Sometimes you see people out there who are trying to tell you how you should run your business, but that might not work for you and your stress levels or how you see the world or whatever it is. Don't be told how to run your own business.
No. which goes back to you're the one in control.
Exactly.
Yeah, and remember that it just made me, it triggered something, another thought actually. What was it? Don't let others. No, what did you just read out?
We're all different.
We're all different, yes, and every single reselling business is different as well. There's no one reselling business that is exactly the same, and that is the beauty of reselling. I've said this over and over. The beauty of reselling is that you can tailor it to your lifestyle and to make it suit what you need from it. So yeah, remember that every reselling business is different.
8C Global, hello there, hope you're well. Organization. So as already mentioned, a SKU system. Also understanding your numbers. Wow. Yeah, we haven't even mentioned that. Being honest with yourself about your own financials is huge if you're setting out in business. You know, don't bury your head in your sand and wonder how much money you might be making in a month. Know those numbers. That's the two sides of being in control are, you know, it's great you have all the control, but you also have to be in control of the finances. Yeah, great one.
Alex's Retro Drip says, during the wrapping process, I always send my customers pictures so they can see what they're getting and the care I take to wrap it.
Wow, that's next level. Tom, hello. I find comparing yourself to others absolutely robs you of your self-worth and the why reason you were motivated to sell in the first place.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm kind of the same on that one. I do watch some people for inspiration, but I don't really compare my business to theirs because mine is the way it is for a very good reason, because it's mine and it's how I do things. Not that I don't need to change and improve, and I am constantly tweaking and changing and improving. Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah.
Kevin
says, I love your videos.
Well, thank you. Thank you. That means a lot. Keep an eye out. Absolutely. Yeah, I get a lot from shop bins and in shops. If we're out, well, Andrea will tell you this, if we're in Sainsbury's and somebody's packing the shelves and there's a load of nice little boxes, nice thick double wall cardboard, I just go up and say, can I have that pile of boxes? And I've never been told no.
Yeah.
They don't care. They're going in a cardboard compactor. Yeah. Saves them carrying it out the back. Darren, hello. Try and post your items tracked, recorded delivery, etc. As some people try to say it hasn't been delivered to get a freebie. Even when tracking says it's delivered, they try it. Yeah, definitely. And I think customers are very aware that if you don't have tracking, they can get a free item if they really want to. So we're in an age where if you can, everything needs to be tracked.
Yeah. Chris says, I loved your honesty from day one and have learned a lot. So thank you from me.
Thank you, Chris.
Cat Compositions, stress empire is a good term. I might steal that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we say it from experience because we built up a very busy, at times very stressful high street business. Not that we didn't love it completely and we're so proud of what we did, but with a very successful, busy high street business comes a certain amount of stress. The amount of money that was flowing through that, and the turnover, and the orders, and it was a lot for essentially two of us. We had some part-time staff. Actually, did we have a full-timer in the end?
No.
Was John not full-time at one point?
Oh,
kind of, wasn't he?
Ish.
Anyway, it was essentially two of us running a crazy busy high street store for nearly 10 years.
Sharon says, make sure you have some downtime too, as a home business can be all consuming at times. It's important to have a rest and switch off completely at times. It is, because you need to recharge your batteries.
Yeah, well said. I can't believe that didn't come up before now. We've both said many times, we love what we do, but you still need time to do other things and have other things in your life that you're passionate about. Otherwise you get burnt out. our friend Mel is called Back from Burnout for a good reason. And she'll tell you firsthand what that's like. Yeah, that's really important. And I'm not very good at that. My escape is music, music and YouTube. I go and lie in the bath for like an hour at a time, if not more, and watch YouTube and listen to music on YouTube. That's my escape.
Yeah. Daniel Holtzales says, I use cashback sites for a percentage back from my postage costs and voucher codes for every. Yeah, we're not very good at that.
No, well, most of our stuff goes Royal Mail, and I do it through their website, have an online business account. But when we use couriers, I should be using Top Cashback and all of that. But there you go. There's an improvement I could make.
Just follow up on that. Install Coupert on your PC for coupon codes.
Nice.
UC Vintage says the only person you're in competition with is yourself. Everything else is just noise.
That's a good one. Yeah. Competition with yourself. I suppose if you're trying to improve your business, the only thing you want to look at is last month's numbers or last year's numbers, because that's all that matters. It doesn't matter what so-and-so is doing down the road in his £1 million warehouse, right? That's irrelevant to your business. But what you did last month and what you're going to do next month, that is relevant to your business. And you can control that. Yeah.
Thomas says, love your videos here in Ireland, and I'm not a reseller, just love the idea of what you do. Keep up the good work. Thank you, Thomas.
We do have a surprising amount of people that watch us but don't get involved with reselling. They find what we do, as you just said, interesting. And I love that. Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah. Hayley says, one more bit of advice. Make sure that you pick the right box before you agree to post something out. I've been there, where you think it'll fit in a box and then it doesn't.
Oh, okay. I love finding the perfect box. I put a few little short videos on Insta where I found the perfect box for an item. I love that feeling.
Cat Composition says, searching niches for the highest price items for research is something I'd never thought of before.
Yeah. Trying to retain the information once you find it is tricky. The older you get, most information falls out the other side of my head. It's just full of lyrics from the 90s in here. So holding on to it, but some of it's retained, right? Those little gems, I think we've both learned to retain some of it, at least over the years.
Especially if you're really interested in something, I think you do. Salamander says, make good use of Google Lens. Yes, I use the Google app all the time to do a picture search.
I've only just got into using the the eBay photo search. So you've got an item in your hand within eBay where you click search, you can just take a photo of it and eBay will search, kind of like Google Lens. It can be hit and miss, but with certain things it's spot on and it saves you faffing around typing all this rubbish in. Yeah,
it does. But also when you use the Google photo search, it will bring up all of everything that the internet has to offer on that item. So you'll see it on different marketplaces and different prices. So it gives you a bit more of a wider idea of what something's worth.
Right.
You needed to get a drink.
Yeah. Will's is interesting.
Yeah. So Will says, advice, I promote everything at 10%, but add 10% to the price. I still get the price I wanted and get the item promoted. Yeah, that's clever.
It sounds genius, doesn't it?
It's a bit like when people put something on sale, but then when you offer free postage, but then you add that postage into the item amount.
Yep.
Hello, Big Al. Hey guys, sorry for not popping in recently. Life has taken over. Business was going downhill. eBay sales continue to dive. Been hard at it, working new processes, trying to work hard, creating new income. Oh, well, I'm sorry it's been difficult.
Al, if anyone can make it work, it's you, mate.
Yeah, definitely.
You're possibly the hardest working man I've ever met. Go for it. You'll make it work.
Yeah.
Or, as we've been talking about in this, you'll evolve and change. You'll focus on something else and evolve the business. right?
Is simple delivery compulsory with private sellers? I think, is it now? I don't know.
I'm
private,
not
a
sure.
private seller, so we don't know. Oh, hang on. Joe says simple delivery is not implemented yet and past the 15th of April. So maybe they've changed their mind on it. Who knows?
I thought it had. Maybe they were rolling it out for certain accounts because some people were using it and struggling. So I don't know. Maybe it's not across the board yet. I don't know. But by pretty much all accounts, it's been a bit of a failure, which is a shame.
And Al says, guys, we have removed free postage this week. I've had enough of the pretending that top-rated selling gets you better sales. It's costing me a fortune. Yeah, I had to decide to make more profit as eBay drops. Absolutely. Yeah.
Goes back to the evolving and changing and being on top of your numbers and being honest about stuff. Absolutely. It's tough. Yeah. Wow.
Okay, so Steve says, sell what you'd want to buy, not what you'd want to sell.
Hang on a minute. Sell what you'd want to. Oh, see, but I'd never get rid of it. We just have piles of.
Well, that is true.
Piles of vinyl.
I do sell what I want to buy, and quite often it's a difficult one.
I get what you mean. It goes back to buy and sell in niches that you're passionate about, I guess, because then it's not like work, isn't it?
Hello, Leslie. Leslie says, be professional with your customer service. Don't take it personally.
Don't take it personally. Great one. Yeah, I put down here as well along that line. Don't sweat the small stuff. What I had to learn very quickly when we started our own business was to not stress about the little things, because at the end of the day, they don't matter. And not taking it personally is part of that. Sleep on it. Don't respond to an angry email in the moment when you might be angered by it.
Yeah.
Sleep on it. Calm down.
Breathe and then politely reply.
Well, I would say a life tip really is don't respond to people when you're in an emotional state. Full stop. Take time out. Give yourself time to process it and respond when you are calm.
It's probably a good life lesson.
Well, exactly. In life generally, but particularly in business, right? Don't rise to other people's insults or anger, and be, as Leslie perfectly put, be professional.
Yeah.
Or scream at your partner a bit and then do a nice polite email. That's what we do.
That's what we do.
Nick, have you seen what they said? Yeah. What?
Ross says, car boots, charity shops aren't the only ways to source, and contacts are key, but they're hard to build. You can do so much sourcing online, mind.
Exactly. Yeah, experiment. Find out what works.
Yeah.
You know, we know people that source on Vinted. We know people that source through eBay. I do that myself. Auctions, you can bid online on auctions. Yeah. All sorts. Be creative.
Susan says, my advice to a new reseller would be, don't get too worried about scammers. In my experience, most customers are honest. The holes and idiots are happily few and far between. That's very true.
I would agree. Yeah.
Oh, and then Susan says, although we remember each and every one of them.
I was going to say that. The trouble is, when we get scammed, it stays right here, and it feels like there's more of it going on than there is. Because you think about it, this is what social media does as well. People always shout about the scammers because it's out of the ordinary. If it was happening every day, we wouldn't get so stressed about it. Yeah. One of our biggest ever videos was because we were scammed, or somebody was trying to rip us off. But it was noteworthy because it doesn't happen very often.
Jason says, evening guys, been selling vintage car radios this weekend. I always add postage to 90% of my items. I always add postage to 90% of my items, because when accepting offers, you do not lose out on the postage cost, which will happen. Free postage.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah.
Keep track of your numbers, indeed.
Exactly, Leslie. Yeah.
It
is.
Sorry.
It is really important, even if you're trying to be a reseller, to just be less stressed and just have a fun life and not work hard on that, if you lose track of your numbers, you might not be making any money, and then it will all fall apart very quickly, because the whole point of a business, whether you like it or not, is to make money.
Yeah.
And you need to keep track of what's coming in and what's going out, and hopefully leave something for yourself in the middle.
Yeah. You need to be covering your costs.
Absolutely.
Supermarkets are always happy for you to take boxes when they're unpacking stuff. Also, Apple boxes often have bubble wrap or A3 brown paper.
They do. Yep.
Stu said, totally agree on the stress. I feel so much better since I went full-time selling and work as a casual job that covers the bills.
Yeah. And keep an eye on that. I said before about periodically take a step back and ask yourself, is this working for me, for what I want to get out of it? How stressed am I? I'm very good at muddling along and not realizing if I'm getting stressed, right? It's sometimes hard to be subjective about yourself and how you're doing.
Seablane, it says, just to be awkward, my nearest person who could drop something to the post office for me is about 40 minutes away. Yeah.
Right.
But what I was saying before is that Royal Mail do click and collect now. So they will pick it up.
There will always be someone who is genuine, but we've heard it so many times, people just trying to get you to give them money back, and they use that as an excuse, sadly. And those that are genuinely, stuck, suffer because we don't believe the rest that are making it up.
Question here. Do you want to read that one?
Kaz24, perfect timing. I collected pocket dragons when I was younger, and where's best to sell them? And will eBay think I'm a reseller, as it'll be just my personal items I want to clear out? Now, they capped how many items a month, didn't they? Because it doesn't apply to us, I'm not too up on what the limits are on a personal account. Your best bet is to go to the eBay help, and I'm sure they will hopefully have that information in there. Because we're a business seller, I'm not really that focused on those limits on a personal account. I don't know. Or phone eBay and just ask them outright, this is what I'm going to do. What's your advice? So I can do it on a personal account.
And he says, build up an achievable routine and have realistic goals and just keep going.
Nice.
Stu says, my advice would be, if you're sending anything breakable, assume your package is going to be thrown about, kicked across a warehouse floor, dropped down the stairs and stood on, and then pack accordingly. Yes.
Yep. And I always think about Zahir's video he made like 10 years ago, where he said that, and he wrapped up something fragile and then proceeded to boot it around his, wherever he was, in his old front room, I think, when he still lived down in London.
Market Man Mike says, try to sell what you have an interest in and like to pick up, otherwise it'll become a chore. I pretty much walk past a lot of money on the table or the rack now, as I know that I won't enjoy listing it. Yeah, absolutely. I don't enjoy listing games and video games, media, blah blah blah. I don't mind music, but yeah, and you don't enjoy clothes, so we don't pick those things up.
Yeah, and realizing that about yourself and being cool with saying, I'm not going to bother there. I know so and so makes a fortune selling it and they love it, but that's them. Doesn't suit me, and be fine with that. That's okay. We've done an hour. Have we done an hour?
Oh, Catherine says that her picture arrived.
Excellent. Thank you for the purchase. I drafted the rest of it. I haven't done the pictures of the pictures yet, but the rest of that's going to go up next week. They need cleaning as well. More jobs.
So RS Harris says, question, I know that how photos look can be a selling feature, but any ideas if you're restricted space-wise?
It's a good question, isn't it? I don't know. I don't know what you do if you're really struggling for space. Clear a little area on the floor. Yeah. Which I do here in the kitchen quite often.
Well, I list here on this countertop. So list photograph, I mean.
No, I don't know. About that one. There's Donna there.
Yeah, hello Donna. Hi guys, hope you're well. How long did it take you to settle into the new area? Just moved from city to village, feeling homesick. It takes a while. It took us over a year probably before we stopped feeling homesick. And
give yourself time.
Yeah, it does, but you get there eventually. As soon as you start meeting people, meeting your neighbours, and just becoming familiar with the area, it starts to feel like home.
Yeah.
Al
says there, Vinted is soon becoming the best platform for me. eBay is kicking my butt with sales dropping so low it's killing my company. Push Vinted then.
Yeah.
Go where the money is. I mentioned earlier, I don't know if you were around there now, but none of us are married to eBay. We still love it. And I said before, if you cut me open, it will say eBay across the middle. I still think for us and our business, it's still the best. It doesn't mean it will always be. Go where the money is. Go with the platform that suits your model, whatever that is, right?
I don't know how you sort that out, actually, because we have an Apple laptop, so we don't tend to get adverts coming up. So I
keep getting adverts in front of the chat. I've never seen that before.
Somebody else in the chat might know how to solve that.
I don't know. Right, I'm going to try and get down to the bottom. This has been really interesting. We may just revisit this again because I've loved reading your thoughts and your advice. Let me see if I've got any I didn't read from our little list. Did I read this one? Don't let others tell you how to run your business unless you understand that is what you want or need, right? Again, there are people out there who love being told what to do. It's not for me. I actively go out of my way to avoid anyone telling me what to do.
Al says, I'm the same, Nick. I'm currently muddling on, not realizing how much I've had to do. This week has been very stressful, very tough, and I'm about to make serious changes to my companies to lessen the work.
Yeah. Look after yourself, Al.
Oh, I think we might be at the end of the chat.
And keep in touch, mate. If you ever just want to ping me a message and have a chat, you know where I am. Just read the last couple of bits we didn't mention from our list. Don't be afraid to say no, right? Even if there's an amazing opportunity, if you're already stressed or you've got too much on your plate. I'm still learning this one. You can say no, even if you can make money on something or somebody's asked you a favor or for you to do something for them and you're already running full pelt just to keep up with what you've got going on. Say no. I find that hard to do, but no is a word to become friendly with. And I also put, don't be afraid to say no to anyone, including yourself. Failure is an option, which sounds like an odd thing to say. Somebody told me that years ago and I didn't really understand what it meant. It doesn't mean that you should be looking to fail, but go into any project understanding that it might not work out, and that really it takes away the fear of failure. Understanding failure is an option really means don't be scared to fail, because you'll never do anything if you're scared of failing. So accepting that failing is an option frees you up. It works for my brain anyway. And that's it. That's all we had.
C. Blaney started off with the words of wisdom. No.
No. Just say no, kids. Right? But I think we are, as a society, we're all too quick to think we have to just say yes to everything. If somebody needs help or needs something doing, or, sometimes we have a limit. And you can say, no, I just can't fit that in, or no, I've got too much on, or...
Absolutely. Sharon says, fail forwards.
Wow. That's an interesting way of putting it.
And Chris says, I tried to sell old vacuum cleaners in auction on eBay, but it sucks at getting bids.
Okay.
Speed foot flips. Hello. Trying to be someone else is a waste of who you are. Kurt Cobain and or Marilyn Monroe.
Interesting. That's a great one. I like that so much.
Be careful when asking people to drop things off at your house. You might end up with jock straps, glass eyes, and false legs, like Victor Meldrew's surgical supplies repository.
I don't remember that one.
I don't remember that one. My favourite episode of One Foot in the Grave is the one where he goes to answer the phone and goes, 4291, picks up the dog.
Picks up a dog.
That's always been my favourite episode.
They should re-show those. Ian says, you have to believe in yourself when no one else does. That makes you the winner.
Yeah. Venus Williams.
If you're new to these, we are now doing what we normally wrap up with, which is words of wisdom. That's why these comments say wow at the beginning. People aren't just going, wow. We read out your words of wisdom and we pick a favorite and leave you with it. There you go.
The only thing we have to fear is fear itself.
Exactly. And if you can take away the fear, you are free to try things, right? Experiment. Fail, because failure is an option, but don't be scared of it.
Pressure is for tires.
Right, Steve.
Yeah.
Okay.
I had exactly the same thought when you said just say no. Yeah.
Zamo.
Yeah. Tom says, never compare your insides with someone else's outside.
That's great.
Yeah, I've heard that before. It's a good one.
Not heard it.
Porky says, never let the fear of losing be greater than the excitement of winning.
See? Ooh. Yes.
Well, bye, Al. You may have already gone.
Good night. Yeah, keep in touch.
Stu said, if your palm itches, it's a sign you're going to receive something. If your crotch itches, you've already got it. Okay. Failure makes your successes taste even sweeter.
It's true.
Absolutely.
It's true.
Yeah. Oh, George, you're a bit late.
Good evening.
Will says the buck stops here.
Mm-hmm.
Indeed. Spreadsheets. Yeah, we don't do spreadsheets.
Not really.
What does Jessica say? If you can flip an item, don't keep it to yourself. Other people want it more than your duster.
That's great. I like that. Stay on the right side of the road.
Yeah. Or stay in your lane.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, we drive on the left, don't we? Okay. Shall I pick one or did you want to pick one?
Was there one at the bottom there? I don't know if one came
Oh,
no. That's just George saying
George is late to the party.
Yeah, you pick one, stay.
See, I really like Will's there, but I think there was one that really struck a chord earlier.
Or was it trying to be someone else? It
was. Yes,
just
it was.
Further down.
Was it further down?
You might have gone too far again. You keep zooming past it.
Let's leave on that one. Speed Foot Flips said, trying to be someone else is a waste of who you are.
Yeah.
That sends chills down my spine.
I think I'd have chosen that one as well.
And you can relate it to your business. Trying to make your business like someone else's isn't going to work because it's not you and it's not what works for you. So we'll leave on that sentiment, right? Oh, wow. That was a lot of chat. Thank you so much for contributing if you did, or just watching and enjoying, hopefully, if you did.
Oh, and if Sharon, who sent you this, is watching, I'm about to wreck it. Nick did actually do this puzzle.
I got it out just before we went live.
I've now skewed it.
And it makes a pyramid. It's a tricky one.
Yeah.
It's
a bit wobbly.
There you go.
There we go.
Right, we will hopefully be back next Sunday. I will try and put together a picking orders video tomorrow. We've had some really strong sales again, and we've both been listing, so we're reaping the benefits of that. Have you got a video coming on your channel?
Yes, well, there was one that went up on Thursday, and that was a charity shopping one. And there is one that we'll got this week as well. We went out to Bury St Edmunds.
Oh yeah, of course. Oh, and if you want to watch some cats, our friend Susan has a channel with cats on it. Ta-ra, we'll see you next time.